Hey everybody, it's the Margarita Kid here with Dad, Sometimes Daughters and Drinks. Change the name of the channel a little bit because they're just not here enough to name the channel Daughters. So we're going to go with that. You'll always get at least two of those three. You'll have me and you'll have my drink. Today it's just coffee. It's that kind of a day. And we've been working our way through a lot of the Warnings music. Spent last weekend going through the whole Teatro Metropolitan concert, which was absolutely fabulous. And I've got a ton of recommendations from the Warning Army. And so, I've looked at one or two of those, I think, since. But one thing that keeps coming up is the TED performances. And there's one from 2016, one from 2017. And so I'm going to go in order. I think people have tended to recommend the 2017 a little bit more, but I'm going to start chronologically. We're going to go 16 first, and I'm just going to react to the whole thing. So this will be a little bit longer of a video. The talk itself is about 20 minutes, so I'll try not to pause it too much. I think the girls were like 11, 13, and 15 at this point. I think it said in the description. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm not sure if this is just performances or if they talk as well.
eso.
All right, so that rocked. That would have been so much fun to be in the audience for. Um, yeah, I mean, you can, it's interesting because I've seen, some of the later things, and then like I watched the very first Enter Sandman one, and this one's clearly kind of in, not necessarily in the middle. I think it's still more towards the beginning of the 10 years, but you can definitely see changes in them, even just from that one early video I've watched in terms of animation. Which I watched the title Rising, and they talk about how they actively try and have to, or at least had to. Maybe it's natural now to have some stage presence. Show some energy instead of just kind of standing there and singing into the mics. And you can definitely see that's picked up a lot. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, and it's impressive to me. I mean, there's a lot of things that are impressive already, right? Just the quality of their playing at that age, and it's not like it's just even good. Like there's like the drums, the bass aren't just keeping time kind of things. Like they're active ingredients, yeah, instruments that you need to have when you just have a trio, and it was a lot of fun. And even having like that kind of like that tempo change, and for anybody who's writing their own songs, I always find it a little bit interesting when people can find ways to do that doesn't seem well, it's not always easy to make it a smooth transition, I'll put it that way. And they do these things naturally, and I think it's good when they don't just pick a chord progression and stick with it. So very cool so far.
Hola, buenas tardes. Somos The Warning. Estamos súper contentos de estar aquí. Hello, good afternoon. We are The Warning. We are so excited to be here. This is my sister Daniela. She's 15 years old and she plays the guitar. This is my other sister, Paulina. She's 13 years old and she plays the drum. I'm Alejandra. I'm 11 years old and I play the bass. My sister Daniela is going to tell you a little bit more about how we started the band.
Now, if my timing's right on this was a bass that's like a smaller bass because normal ones were too large for her. But even then, it still looks kind of huge on her. So I don't know how tall these girls are. Even now, I think somebody said Paulina's like 5 feet tall. I don't know if the other girls are a lot taller or not. I never seem to think that there's a big discrepancy when I see them together. So maybe they're all, not very tall. Which makes the instruments look, maybe a little bit larger. It's a nice guitar too, that Les Paul.
Thank you, Ale. Wow. Where do I even begin? Well, the three of us started since we were very little. I was like 5 and Pa was around 3 when we entered a summer program for music initiation. You could tell right away that we loved it. We were always looking forward to our music lessons. Well, Ali was barely a year old, so she didn't enter with us, but she eventually learned the same stuff we did. Our parents noticed our love for music, so they asked us, "Do you want piano lessons?" And of course, we were thrilled. We said yes. And so we started, and we actually started playing classical music. But then the rock band came in. My dad bought the game for us, and we literally wouldn't stop playing. It was so awesome. I was always on the drums, I was on the guitar, and, well, I was still too young to play, but still she enjoyed watching us. And I remember thinking at the time, how cool would that be if we could do it for real? So when I was about 8 years old, my dad asked me yet again, "Do you want to play another instrument?" Without leaving the piano, of course. And I said yes, and obviously I chose the guitar. Later on, Pao chose the drums, and Ali chose the bass. Although, curiously, she first wanted to play the harp, right, Ali? I don't know where that came from, but yeah. I will always remember the first time we played together as a band. It was so shaking. I wouldn't stop shaking because it was all new to me, and it was our first time playing in front of, well, a large audience. It was just our friends and family. But um, it was so cool because once we got on stage, all the nerves kind of went away when we started playing the song. And I was having so much fun. And I remember saying to myself, this is where I belong. I mean, this is where we belong. And from that point on, we were just three girls with a big musical dream. So yeah, and also I really appreciate being able to have this band with my sisters because when I was the
So two things real quick. One is this means, if my math is right, because I think they did the Enter Sandman thing when she was 13, and she started when she was 8, which means in 5 years she went from not playing guitar to playing Metallica, which is pretty incredible. The other thing, it's interesting when she talked about, getting on stage and the nerves just kind of go away. I think most people, that's a very opposite kind of situation. You can feel perfectly great, and as soon as you get up in front and you look out, all of a sudden you start shaking. And I know that was certainly my experience when I started playing. The first time I played in front of people was in college at this one show in the spring, and I was terrified and, did a lot of playing over the next year. And it wasn't until that same show the next year that I realized I actually got up and played and wasn't nervous. So it took me a whole year to get over it. So the fact that they were able to get used to that so quickly is pretty cool.
5-week program at Berklee College of Music last summer, we got to play with different people, and I was so surprised at how difficult it really was to organize ourselves and share our opinions because I barely knew the person I was playing with. So yeah, I really value being able to play with them. Well, I mean, we do have disagreements a lot, really, but it's easier to talk about them and kind of figure things out. So yeah, and there's really no one else I'd rather play with. Thank you. And so yeah, that's kind of our story. And also, our parents have helped so much. Really, all of this couldn't be possible without them. We can't be grateful enough. And it's funny, really, because a lot of people think they're musicians, and they're really not. We're kind of the first musicians in the family. But yeah. And, well, that's our story, and we're very excited to be here and make this experience part of it. Thank you. Our next song is actually a cover song. We like it so much we decided to play it for you. This is The Pretender by the Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Keep you in the dark, you know they all pretend. Keep you in the dark, and so it all began.
that was solid. You know, two things. One is, and I've mentioned this on other videos, and people have commented about it as well. Her ability, Danny, to play like more complicated lead things while she's singing is really impressive. And I almost have to think, when you talk about, somebody learning second languages, if you start them young, it becomes much, much, much easier, right? If you try to do it later in life, your brain's wired in some way that it's just not easy, right? And so I wonder if them starting playing so early and doing complicated things just rewired her brain in some way that it lets her do these more complicated things while she's singing. I don't get that necessarily at that age for sure, other than something like that, because it's again I forget how many years. I figured out it was 5 years or whatever it was she's been playing. The other thing, so unrelated to the warning really, but there's a funny story that Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters tells about when they opened they played on Saturday Night Live and Christopher Walken introduced them. If you haven't seen that story, go ahead and look up on YouTube Dave Grohl and Christopher Walken story. It's pretty funny.
Something that's super important to all of us is all the hard work behind this project. This didn't appear out of thin air. We had to work for many days, many hours, many years. We sacrificed not going to parties, not hanging out with our friends, and most of our free time. Oh, sorry. And and a lot of people ask us, why do you even do this? Why do you even waste a second of your time on this? It's not like you're gonna get anywhere. You're just wasting your time. And some people even tell me, you're a girl, you can't play the drums. That's only for boys. And stuff like that. And and the reason we do all of this, the reason we spend so much time on this is because we love this. Because this is a passion. This is not just some hobby. This is something we want to do for the rest of our lives. And something that we really want to transmit is that you can do whatever you want if you work hard for it. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, young or old. Music is for everybody. Do what you love. Break the boundaries. Work hard for it.
We haven't achieved all of our goals yet. We still have a lot of work to do. We will feel.
Can somebody tell me what Pa was just saying? She was talking about, people saying, why are you doing that? You're just wasting your time and all that. And I know there's the song she had written about, about somebody saying that, right? Saying that she was wasting her time. I forget what the name of the song is. Was it Animosity? I don't know. You can tell me that too. But was this recorded before or after they wrote that song?
Feel satisfied when with one of our songs we get to inspire someone the same way other songs inspired us. That song that you play over and over again because it gives you goosebumps or it makes you feel something special. All of this work has brought us moments to be proud of, like our EP on iTunes that is called Escape the Mind. Those were the very first songs we ever made. It was meant as an experiment to find our own sound, and as a result, the songs came out
was a cool ending.
Thank you.
It's a good song. That was a lot of fun. You know, it's funny how even then you could see that Danny and Pau seemed very comfortable getting out and kind of talking and leading, whereas it seemed that Ali was still a little bit more nervous. And you know, I think even to this day, I don't know if it's nervous necessarily, but I think people said she doesn't want to sing too much, and it seems like she doesn't. She's not the focus of the stage presence as much as the other two. Not to say musically she's not just as important, but Pau, you know, even back then you could just watch her drum all day. Right? There's a few musicians that for whatever reason I just like watching them play. She's one of them. I discovered the bass player for Baby Metal, Bo, I think his name is, for one of the commie bands, East. I can also watch him play all day. I think that's where he was from. In any case, this was really cool. I look forward to watching the 2017 one to see how different they are even a year later. And I think that's it. So thanks everybody for watching, and I hope you all have a good day. Go out there and do something nice for somebody, and don't expect anything in return. Thanks.